that's exactly why Winston had Stella wide open. So wide open that she couldn't tell that man was batting on the other team. Because I feel like when women really have great sex for the first time, I think it creates a bond with that man. This is why a lot of women who are, in relationships that don't serve them, but they stay because the sex is really good. And if you've come out of relationships where you haven't had good sex, that man literally could, like they say, keep your nose wide open, wide open. This is why it's important for women to speak up when sex is not good. But we don't have a framework for that, because not only do women believe that to be sexually liberated and free says something bad about them, right? And a lot of that comes from the church. You know what I mean? Like, I have never in my life, and I don't say this as a brag, but I've never had a whole face. Never, ever, ever had a whole face. And I don't say that as a brag or say that as, oh my God, I wish I didn't have a whole face. I'm just saying, I was so heavily indoctrinated into religion that the thought of having sex just for pleasure didn't even occur to me until I was in my late 30s, early 40s, that I could have sex with pleasure and have it with pleasure every time I had it. Not, an occasional. Do you know what I mean? And part of that too, to be fair to my former partners, it wasn't even about them being good in bed or not being good in bed. I just didn't allow myself to freely engage my whole body in the act of sex, because, and this is a mindfuck of Christianity, especially for young women, because it teaches you about modesty and chasteness, and then it expects you to get married and then just become a freak in the bedroom. That doesn't happen. So I think a lot of bad sex that women are having too, some of it is about the man, but I feel like a lot of it is about, especially if you were raised really Christian, is about how you come to the act of sex. If you come to the act of sex believing that it was this bad, dirty thing, you don't turn on and become the sexual slutty being with your husband. That doesn't happen. And I think, I remember saying, like, when my marriage ended, I really, really, really apologized to my ex-husband, because I don't think that the sex was fulfilling for him, because I couldn't get my brain to switch to engage in sex and enjoy it. Especially when I had indoctrinated beliefs around Christianity that I wasn't supposed to have sex until I get married. And to do it made you a bad woman, a nasty woman, Jezebel. So yeah, when you do get married, you don't suddenly become a slut. So when you do find a man that opens up your nose, yeah, he opens up your nose.